Yeah, what's up, Bonehonk? Shujinkydink here. Welcome to a video all about Injustice 2. I want to make this video for anyone that's starting late in the game, or maybe just wants to pick it up again and didn't really know how to take it seriously the first time. Just kind of how to play the game. Very basics. Some of you people on the channel here will know all this stuff inside and out, but I appreciate you clicking on this video and leaving that like. I really do appreciate that. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, because we make videos like this all the damn time.
Accept your death.
So we'll talk about your buttons first. You got stick to move around. I play on a fight stick, but if you're playing on a controller, you can just use the left stick. You can jump. Batman has a double jump. I think it's unique to him. In this game, you want to hold the back button to block. You can also hold down and back, or just straight down, and all three of those will block. You have four main buttons here. We have two punch attacks, we have a kick attack, and then we have our trait. There's a fourth button, which is a special move assigned to... It's different for every character. Every character has a little bit different one. Batman has these three things. He hits the trait button again, tosses out, and you can see a meter on the bottom right next to his super meter that will recharge when he's able to use his trait again. It's a very strong trait if you're a Batman player, so make sure that you use it. Next, you have what's called your command normals, and you can find this by pressing start, going to the moves list. This is one thing that NRS does really well that I really like, is the moves list. So it tells you every input, so you got back and square in this case, or whatever. A lot of people will say back 1, just because there's number assigned to it, but I'll link a video to that, so you can watch that first if you want. Back 2, standing 3, back 3. That's one thing I'll get into next. So yeah, those are your command normals. They do different things, sometimes they're different combo starters, and your moves will have different properties. So for example, this move right here is a high attack. So a high attack will go over a ducking opponent. So if you can use a high attack to try and hit somebody, and someone goes under and hits you like this with your little down one, your little jab there. So you want to be careful of highs in that aspect. The next one you have is mids. Mids, you can block standing or ducking either way, but you cannot go under them. If you try to press any sort of a button, you will get hit 99% of the time. Next, we have low attacks, which just hit you if you're just stand blocking. So if you're just stand blocking, that'll hit you, but if you're duck blocking, you can block it. No problem. And lastly, we have overheads, which brings us into forward 3 and back 3. So overhead will hit the opponent if they're ducking, but if they're standing, they will block it. Let me give you an example of the block here. They're stand blocking, and they blocked our overhead. If they were duck blocking, it would have hit them like you saw the first time. So there's just a little, and vice versa with the lows if you're not sure about that as well. So those are some basic things on your basic command normals. Now, everyone has their unique forward 3 and back 3. These moves can be armored. We'll get into that in the future here, but for now I just kind of want to talk about the super basics of how to play the game. Next, we go into our combo attacks. So start, move list. Then you see you can come across the top. So special moves combo. We'll talk about special moves next. Combo attacks. So this will tell you your inputs that you press, and you just press them in order. They can be fairly quick. Some, depending on some characters, are a little bit tighter. So there's a 3-hit one. So these are just some examples of different inputs that you can do. Some are long, some are short, some do different things, but they're all in here. So I definitely recommend that whatever character you want to play first, you take them into practice mode and go through all of these different things and see what you can do with them. You know, see what they can do. This one here, for example, it's 2 inputs and it moves Batman away from somebody. So if you're trying to get away from somebody, you might use that one. If they're kind of in your face and you're like, I don't really like you being here, you know? Or if you're trying to get close to someone, you might do something along those lines. So just make sure that you get used to them and kind of see what you might want to use them for. Alright, so next we're going into special moves. So we've switched over to Harley Quinn for this one because I figured it'd bounce around a little bit, you know? So special moves, you go into here and there's an input. Usually it's 2 inputs, but every once in a while a character has a 3-input move. Generally, these moves tend to be a little bit stronger, and that's why that added input is there, just to kind of gatekeep that move from being abused too much. But for the most part, the special moves are the same across the board. You have your down back, you have your down forward, and you do have to, you can do them in like a quarter circle forward kind of motion on if you're using the stick. I usually recommend using the pad if you're using a controller because it's a little bit easier to control. It would be down forward, or you can kind of roll your thumb across them. That's kind of how I like to do it. Boop. 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 We're doing our special moves. Boop. Again, you want to go into practice mode and just kind of see what your character does and what kind of options you have as far as special moves. Let's do the, try and do the harder input here. There we go. Play doctor. So it's a command grab. A command grab is a grab that you cannot avoid. Mind you, all grabs are like that in this game. If a grab hits you when you're blocking, you're getting hit. Command grabs you cannot escape from. A regular grab you can escape from. Which brings us to throws. So, on PlayStation, it default controls are square and X to do a throw. Do it again, just for fun. Now, if you guess that your opponent is going to throw you, you can actually press square and X at the exact same time that they try and throw you, and you'll do what's called tech the throw, or you'll escape the throw. And that's the difference between that and a command grab throw, which a command grab throw like that one, you cannot escape it. If it hits you, you're getting hit. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But a regular throw, you can escape from it if you want by just pressing the same buttons. You can control the direction of the throw by holding forward or backwards. And you'll get a little different animation for it. Where you might want to do this is if you're stuck in the corner. Say someone's got you in the corner and you can't really get out and they're pressuring you big time. Grab a throw. Bonk. Now they're in the corner. Haha, see ya, sucker. Alright, so let's talk about starting combos, because everyone loves combos. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but generally in NRS games, a combo is started by linking a string of combo attacks here into a special move that launches. Another way you can do it is from your back three or your forward three. There's something like that. Back three. Boop. Boop. So here's a very basic combo here. Into the shot, down forward. So I used a combo string. And then I keyed in the special move. Generally you want to key in the special move before the actual combo string ends. So here's where you can enter something like, you can see on my inputs right to by my head here that I input the whole string before the string actually comes out. There, see, she finishes the string afterwards. Sometimes you can do that, and that gives you some time to enter a special move in afterwards. This is quite tricky, so don't get down on yourself if you don't get this right away or it takes you a while to get this. This is probably one of the more complicated parts about learning a fighting game, but I would definitely find the character you like and be comfortable with your specials, your command normals, your combos, and all of that before you go into learning combos. We've talked about how to attack and get into the game. Let's talk now about the bars that are on the screen and what they mean. So up at the top, of course, a health bar. If you've never played a fighting game before or aren't too familiar with it, once this health bar depletes, you go onto a second health bar, which is actually something kind of unique to Injustice. So it's one big game. You can see when I take Batman's health away that underneath there's some red there. That's his second health bar. So once you get his first gray health bar all the way down to 0, then you can start working on his second health bar. And in practice mode, it's not going to let me do it, but you basically have to do that whole health bar twice. You can gain some health back on the second health bar. I'll talk about that a little bit here. I don't want to get too overwhelming as this is kind of like an intro kind of video. But yeah, so that's your health bar and how it works and how you can kill somebody. Basically, just get their health down first before they get yours. So right below me is your super meter. When it is full, as it is right now, you can do a super move, which uses the entire meter. Now this is very expensive, but it does do some decent damage. Let's have a look at Harley's here, shall we? Boom! A little cinematic here. Bonk. Yeah, so that'll use all of your meter. We're in practice mode right now with super meter set to infinite. I can change that here. I think real quick. Practice option. Yeah, so normally it would be like that. You can also use your meter to enhance your special moves. Sometimes you need to do this to get a combo out of that particular special move. And generally you'll do the input for the special move, and just slightly afterwards you'll press whatever button you have assigned. Me, it's R1. Instead of the single shot, we get the 2-shot. And you can see I'm also building my meter back by doing special moves. Getting hit from your opponent and doing special moves are 2 of the better ways to get meter in this game. There we go. So now I have 3 bars of meter. I'm going to throw the cupcakes now. And we meter burn them, and they get a little pop-up as well. So that's do a little bit more damage. Sometimes you get a combo from them. Sometimes you get a little setup depending on what character you're playing. So there's lots of different uses for your super meter, just depending on what you want to do and how you want to accomplish it and how you want to play the game. You know, if you're playing online against people, you might want to play a little bit differently than you're playing against, you know, the AI. So you want to keep that in mind. There is different play styles if you're playing online against other humans, because mind games and stuff are involved. But if you're playing against AI, there's different ways to play the game. And we also have movement uses for meter as well. If you tap forward twice really quickly, and then whatever your meter button is, we do a meter burn roll, which allows us to close distance, and you're actually invincible as you're rolling. See the little flash there? You can't hit her. There is some recovery when you stop, so if someone hits you right as you're coming out of the roll, you know, you get hit. Sorry, should have timed it better. But it is really good if someone's, you know, throwing projectiles at you and you just can't get in, and you have some meter and you're just boom, and you're right in their face. Don't have to worry about it, you know? Movement. You can also use this in the air when you're getting comboed. You can use 2 bars of meter to do what's called an air escape. Again, this is expensive because it uses 2 bars of meter, but it can get you out of a combo. So let me see if I can give you an example here. There we go. So I air escaped out of Batman's combo there, and he wasn't able to hit me with his jump attack. You can also do it backwards, jumping backwards as well, out of his combo. No longer in control. I dropped it there. I did drop it. Everyone makes mistakes, you know? Even this guy. Especially this guy. And the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video, and it is kind of related to the meter as well, is the Clash. So the Clash is only available when you only have your red health left, and this is a wagering system. So you can actually wager your special meter to get life meter. How it's going to work, though, is you have to outbet your opponent. So if your opponent has 1 bar of meter, and you have 2 bars of meter, and you use 2 bars of meter, even if they use their 1, you're going to win some life back. That being said, you're not going to win as much life as if they bet 0 and you bet 2. So every bar that they add is going to take a little bit less from what you're going to gain. And say you bet 3 bars and they bet none, that's 30% life that you're getting back. I would never recommend spending 4 bars unless you think it's going to beat their spending 3 bars. Because when you bet 3 bars, you get 30% health back. When you get 4 bars, you get 33% health back. So a bar is what you're going to use to kind of make a comeback. This is a little confusing, I know. Once you kind of start to play around with it, I think you'll get it. But let me just show you kind of the cinematics of how that works in real time. We initiate the Clash. Little cinematic. Then I'll ask you. You press a button equal to the number that you want to wager. So, Batman wagered 2, I wagered 3, so I got some health back, but I lost more meter. So that's kind of how the Clash system works there. I'll show you one more time. I'm going to bet a little bit less. Come on, Clash, please. I'm going to bet 1 bar this time. Let's see what happens.
Gonna feed you to Button Lou.
Don't bet on it.
Again, press the button. And we lost the Clash, even though we initiated it, because we lost the wager. They wagered 2, we wagered 1, and you can see we actually took damage because of it. So this is where, if you're going to use your Clash, you want to make sure that you have equal or greater meter than your opponent. One last note about the Clash: you cannot clash a move if it's done with back 3 or forward 3. These moves are unclashable. So if someone does this into that, and they hit you twice because they're better than me, like that, you cannot clash that. So use that to your advantage, and of course, well, you can meter burn that as well. I think I forgot to mention that, but I think that's all I'm going to cover in my How to Play Injustice 2 Beginner Edition. I don't know how well this video will do. If it did help you, leave me a note in the comments down below, and I can make a second video. And if you're new, consider subscribing. And if you really want to, check out the Patreon. We can do a one-on-one lesson if you join in there, and I can help you specifically with what's troubling you. So, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I'm making new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you guys in the next video.